Hedda is my favorite film of the year so
Oh,
far.
thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
I cannot wait to see it again.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, first, I'm going to go to you first, Nia. And would you talk a bit about kind of excavating new dynamics
Yeah.
by having Hedda be a Black queer woman?
I
It
mean,
adds so much.
yeah, it really does. It
Yeah.
really, yeah, I didn't even know that that's what I wanted to do or that's what form the film would take or that was the path I was going to go down. I read the play when I was 22. I was falling in love with theater at the time and falling in love with Ibsen and the women that he writes. And Hedda was so fascinating to me. And I loved what she was struggling with and what everyone around her was struggling with, which for a lot of them, namely, was her. But but I think her struggle really mirrored their own struggles for power, agency, freedom, trying to figure out what that even was.
Mm.
And what they wanted, and the one of the first things I thought was, I mean, this character of Eilert feels like as a woman would be much more dynamic and offer more for Hedda's character, as another woman on a parallel path to personhood and agency, another foil for her, alongside Thea. And then I met Tessa Thompson in the summer of 2015 and knew that she was someone who, as often as I could, I wanted to have leading my films and telling stories with me. And so Hedda then was Black. And
Which
so
is,
then so these two things happened where I made Eilert Eileen, and I was like, oh, now everyone's gay. And then I wanted Tessa to do it. Now she's Black, and her experience and as a Black woman, it now becomes a part of the story of Hedda. And it just made everything so much more rich and more close to the skin for me, in a way that I found really rewarding.
yeah, I can't even really speak about it articulately because I just loved it so much. I really have to take it in again. But yeah, thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
And Tessa, would you also kind of talk about the intersections of Hedda? There's that really delicious scene with Eileen where Eileen is saying, "Oh, Hedda, you should
Mm.
be a part of the university." And Hedda says, "Well, how many women? And then how many of them are white?" And so it really gets to the crux of it. Would you talk a little bit about playing that?
Mm.
Yeah. What I really loved about the piece is all of those intersections that you speak of are textural. They're hugely important to the characters, but the hat of the project is not hung on that hook. And for my money, I think that is kind of an interesting way to explore some of these dynamics, because we know as people, all of these particulars become a part of your experience, but they're not the totality of your identity or your personhood. But I thought that scene in particular was really an incredible scene because it expressed something that I've experienced a lot, where you can be in relationship or in conversation with another woman, but you realize all of these intersections of race or sexual orientation or socioeconomic background, that we are not all the same. We just aren't. That we're not a monolith. And I've definitely been in conversations with women where you don't where someone doesn't want to kind of admit that or look at that, and there can't be like real foundational fundamental sisterhood without being able to really look at all those intersections. And so I thought Nia just expressed that so fabulously, and also this character of Hedda, who you really see struggle with not really being able to be seen, even in the relationship that arguably would be her safest chance to really be seen by another woman, and a woman who she loves and loved her at least. Still doesn't see her, can't really see the fullness of her human experience. And I thought it was such a delightful way, in this tit for tat, to kind of unearth that and unpack that, and also kind of bittersweet and sad.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much for that. And I have to wrap soon, but I would not be doing my job if I didn't ask you, Tessa. The Sapphics are losing their minds over the chemistry between you and Nina Haas. Would you talk about working with Nina? I mean, it is off the charts. People are losing it.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I love Nina Haas. I'm a massive fan of her work. she's just so good at acting. And she is such a profoundly kind and generous human.
Yeah.
And, you know, she hates when I say this, but I will never stop saying it. She played Hedda, obviously, for 6 years in Berlin. And I know she was just extraordinary. I wish I could have watched the archive. But she had such generosity. I could tell sometimes that when she was watching me, there was never any judgment, never any preconceptions about how it should be played. There was only delight and excitement to see what I would bring to it. Yeah. And also, I think just fundamentally, one way that we both connected as people and connected as our characters is this delight in mischief. You know, she has a real childlike, she's so formidable, but she has such a spirit of play and mischief in her that the Eileen that she captured is an Eileen that you can see that they have this kind of fiery connection around a little bit of troublemaking. And for Eileen, I think it's a more profound connection to troublemaking, which is to say that I will not be boxed in. I will be the freest expression of who I really am. And that sometimes does feel like stirring up trouble when you enter spaces where people don't want you to do that, or it isn't designed for you to show up as your full authentic self. And I just thought that she captured that spirit so well. And we just had such a delightful time. And it's also, our chemistry is a testament to Nia and her imperative that we have real time to rehearse and spend time together and spend time in the space and get to know each other. And I think that really translates on screen in a brilliant way.